sports update here on KSJB. We got a lot to recap. We had a big weekend of football across the state of North Dakota. We'll go all the way back to Friday. 4 new champions have been crowned from the Dakota Bowl that was this last Friday at the Fargo Dome in North Dakota. We'll start off in the 9-man state championship. New Rockford Cheyenne-Matic would complete the repeat, and they would defeat Lemoore Litchfield Marion 38-22. So New Rockford Cheyenne-Matic for your second straight year is your 9-man state champion. We'll move over to Class A. Langdon Area Munich would defeat Bottineau 29-14 and complete their perfect season. They would finish unbeaten and at the top of the classification. Langdon Area Munich did maybe even flip it over. Bottineau really showed up to play in that Class A state championship, but Langdon Area Munich really flexed their muscles in the second half and just kind of ran away with it. So the Cardinals are your Class A state champions. And then moving over to AA, this was definitely a surprise for at least me. Devils Lake would run the table completely and would defeat Minot North in the AA state championship 39-34. It got really close there at the end, but Devils Lake would jump out to a big lead on Minot North right away in that game, and I was very surprised. So Devils Lake, like I said, runs the table in those Class AA playoffs and gets the win. They have a big upset against Kindred in the semifinal, and then they get the big upset win in the state championship over Minot North, who was number 1 in AA pretty much all season long. So good on them, and congratulations to the Firebirds for, again, running that table. And then finally, in the AAA state championship, I don't think a lot of people were very surprised by this, especially with how this offense had been running so far in the playoffs and all that fun stuff. Fargo Davies would defeat Bismarck Century 41-19, and of course, if you've been paying attention to Fargo Davies long enough, you would know it was that dominant run game for them. And I was very impressed on how a lot of the times they would hand it off to one side, and you think that guy would be completely locked down, and all of a sudden he would bust off for a 40-60 yard touchdown run. It was amazing. So Fargo Davies is your AAA state champion. So again, congratulations to New Rockford Cheyenne-Matic, Langdon Area Munich, Devils Lake, and Fargo Davies. You are the state champions in North Dakota in 2025. Also, some more fun was going on at the Fargo Dome on Saturday. The NDSU Bison would complete their conference play of the 2025 season, defeating Northern Iowa. No surprises here. 48-16. Cole Payton would be the leading scorer for the Bison on Saturday. He would have 1 passing touchdown as well as 2 rushing touchdowns. And like I said, kind of what I figured was going to happen in this game. Most of the time, just like a lot of these Bison games that we have watched this year, other than the last couple of weeks, it was more the fact of how much are they going to beat them by. And this time it was 48-16 over UNI. So they would improve to 11-1 and one final game to go in this regular season before we begin the whole schedule of the FCS playoffs that are going to be coming up here pretty soon. They will be taking on St. Thomas in the regular season finale next week, and that game will be in the Fargo Dome. So can the Bison complete the regular season undefeated and head into the playoffs at that number 1 spot with all the momentum in their favor? And of course, a couple of NFL things we need to talk about. The Minnesota Vikings would take another loss. It would be their second in a row, and they lose to the Chicago Bears on a game-winning field goal by Chicago, 19-17. And of course, just like most games, the quarterback has all eyes on him, and J.J. McCarthy would struggle in this one against the Bears, kind of compared to what we've seen in Week 1 when he played the Bears and lit them up for 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. Again, what I have been saying about J.J. McCarthy is this: growing pains, and that was a definition of it this last Sunday against the Bears. He finishes 16 of 32, 150 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 more interceptions thrown. And, you know, we've seen it multiple times. Even Tom Brady referenced it many times. Number 1, he's a young quarterback making his first couple of career starts in the NFL. It ain't going to be easy. Number 2, again, he's got a lot of stuff to work on when it comes to his mechanics, when it comes to his accuracy, because there was multiple times where we seen these Minnesota Vikings wide receivers open in the game, and McCarthy just could not get them the ball. So that's definitely something that's going to get worked on here going into next week when they play my Green Bay Packers, as well as just going into next season as well. I'm not ready to give up on J.J. McCarthy yet. But he's got a lot of stuff to work on as we complete this first year of him starting and going into his second year of starting. We got to see some improvement by McCarthy with that accuracy, or else he's going to be riding the bench for a long time. So it's going to be interesting to see on what the Vikings do kind of moving forward. Going into next season, will they bring in another backup, a good veteran backup that can come in and relieve McCarthy if this is how he is going to play from game to game? But we'll just have to wait and see there. And finally, my Green Bay Packers would get a win over the New York Giants yesterday, 27-20. And you want to know something weird that a lot of people are starting to notice is 5 out of the 6 wins that the Green Bay Packers have this year, they have 27 points. That's kind of weird is all I'm saying. So, yes, the offense would get back in rhythm just a little bit. They would score 27 in this one compared to 7 like they did against the Philadelphia Eagles at home last week. But Jordan Love would get dinged up in the game. Malik Willis had to come in for just a little bit. And right on schedule, Malik Willis runs the offense just fine and goes down and throws a touchdown pass. But it would be towards the end of the game. Now, the Packers struggled with a lot of drops on both the offense and the defense. Let's remember that the New York Giants had Jameis Winston playing in this game yesterday, and there was probably supposed to be about 4 interceptions thrown by Jameis Winston, but Packer defenders just could not bring the ball in, so we actually only ended up with 1 interception, and that one counted the most because that is what pretty much ended the game and secured the win for the Green Bay Packers. So it was good to see them get back on the win train, and then of course that'll lead into next week when my Packers take on the Vikings. We'll have a whole bunch of smack talk going on this week on the Buffalo City Blitz. So that was kind of the big weekend of football across the state of North Dakota and Minnesota. Then we'll jump over to what's coming up tonight. The University of Jamestown men's basketball JV team, they're going to begin their 2025 season tonight, and they are traveling to Valley City to take on the Vikings. The varsity team is getting going right now. They sit at 1-1, and they will be in action tomorrow against Bismarck State College. Also, the NDSU Bison men's basketball team will be in action tonight. They have made it 2 straight wins last week, so that was a good way to bounce back after starting 0-2. They will take on Southern Illinois tonight in Fargo. They enter the matchup at 2-2, and tip-off will be at 7 tonight from Fargo. And finally, the Minnesota Timberwolves, they got some momentum going on. They have won 5 of their last 6. They would take a loss to the Denver Nuggets and Nikola Jokic. No surprises there. But tonight they will play host to the Dallas Mavericks. The Wolves enter the matchup at 8-5, and Dallas, who just fired Nico Harrison last week, they enter at just a 4-10. So we'll have to wait and see if Dallas can get back on the right track now that the GM and the big distraction that had been a part of that team for the last pretty much year is gone. Can they get back on track, or will Minnesota keep it going tonight and make it 5 out of 6? So we'll have to wait and see. Tip-off will be at 7 tonight from Minnesota. So a good recap of a lot of good sports this last weekend in North Dakota. Again, 4 state champions crowned at the Dakota Bowl in Fargo. NDSU remains undefeated, and the Vikings got a lot of work to do. This has been Ryan King with KSJB Sports Update. A reminder, we have more of our sports news at our website, ksjbam.com, where you can go and download the brand new KSJB Sports app. We have all of our sports coverage right at your fingertips, as well as this brand new KSJB YouTube channel. Make sure to like and subscribe. This has been Ryan King with your KSJB Sports Update.